What's up, everybody? What is up? Bear with me one second. Just getting this posted over to Facebook. See if we can get some Facebook people coming through. So hang on one second. Let me just fight with Facebook in its infinite slowness. And all right, so let's do this. We're gonna share it to both my FPV and my personal page. There we go. And now let's get it into a group or two. Let's go. Gotta go Rotor Riot, man. Come on. I mean, come on. Gotta get that Rotor Riot love coming in. Okay, so there we go with that. Let's see if there's any other groups that we want to push this into. Actually, hold on. Let me go back here. All right, cool. Now we will... That basically just lets me post it as the CiottiFPV page. Let's throw it up in Atlanta FPV, see if anybody comes through from over there. And let's do one more. Let's do one more group. Oh, it'd be cool if there was a GepRC group. No, not all groups allow you to... not all groups allow you to join the group from a page like this, from a non-personal page. Oh, hey, of course. Micro King's Castle! We gotta put it up in there. Jesus. What kind of a social media person am I? Alright, that's good. That's fine. So today we are going to take this little GepRC Skip that you should see in the picture-in-picture. Well, no, actually, it's full screen now. Look at that. Yeah, so we're going to take this little guy and we're going to get it from 3.5.7, which is what it ships from GepRC on, and we're going to bring it all the way up to 4.2 RC1. I've put a few batteries in on 3.5.7, and I'm just not happy with where the tune is. The motors are getting hot, and the tune is not really all that locked in yet. I put about, I don't know, 10 or so batteries into it, tuning back and forth, and it's just not getting there. It's just not getting the job done. So, yeah, let's get it updated. Who's in the chat? Looks like Carl, Cody Clemens, Freelo Joe, Ken Hill, Meatwad, Ferry, Mr. Boulevard, and Steven Rossi. How you guys doing? Thanks for coming. Brent Vogelsang just came in. So let's get Betaflight fired up here. Let me actually just... I'll show the build real quick. Just for anybody who's coming through for the first time, let me show you what this build is. So this is from GepRC. This is their 3-inch toothpick with TPU canopy and Caddx Baby Turtle camera. And, well, we need to take the props off to do this anyway, to make sure that the motors are going to keep spinning in the right direction, and I also want to check these motors to make sure that none of them have gotten banged up. Might as well throw some fresh props on it while we're at it. These aren't bad, but hey. While we're pulling the props off, might as well put some freshies back on there. So let's get these propellers off. Stuck in trees, how are you? If you want me to see your comment, just type @CiottiFPV, no spaces. And that'll light your comment up in orange, and that way I can see it from across the desk. Otherwise, if you don't tag me, I'll just assume that you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves in the chat room, which is something that you folks seem to do a really good job of. It's really cool for me to have such a cool audience of people that interact with one another and have really kind of become friends. That's a very unexpected side effect of these streams. And yeah, it's just super cool. It's super cool to see you guys hanging out and helping each other out and making friends during the time of quarantine when we can't go outside and make friends. Not that, you know, Not that I have any interest in going outside and making friends in the real world, to be really honest. Much rather just hang out here and make e-friends that someday I'll meet, and it'll be the most amazing meeting of the minds. Freelojo, Vert is ERP. I think I think I screwed up software, and my Tiny Hawk or my T16 can't seem to get it to bind. What's it doing, Freelojo? What's the what are the symptoms? Speaking of viruses, what are the symptoms? Stephen Rossi asks, would you be open to me sending you some screenshots of a 3-inch design to give you some ideas on saving weight and helping stiffness? Yeah, always. I'm always open to looking at that stuff. I've learned a lot about frame design over the past couple of years, and yeah, hopefully I can help out or at least steal some ideas from you. Keep the hive mind going, yo. The Borg Collective. Yannick G's toothpick is down. Twitchy Motor 2. Time for a new whoop board. Damn it. Hit Pyrodrone. Yannick, jump over to Pyrodrone, and they've got a really inexpensive AIO board that is kind of untested. I have it here. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look like a cheap shit board, but it is really inexpensive. I think it's the one that I got is the lower amperage one, and I want to say it was like 32 bucks. I couldn't believe how cheap it was. So give that a shot, maybe. It'll at least ease the sting of that board failing. So yeah, this came with GepRC 1105 5000 kV motors. I moved it over to these RC & Power 1204. So I went from 11 width, 5 height, to 12 width and 4 height. So we went a millimeter wider and a millimeter shorter. So basically what that's going to do is shift the throttle range where you've got the most sensitivity down a little bit. The 1105s would be a good choice maybe for racing, although I really don't like 1104, 1103, 1104, 1105, 1106s on anything other than a 2-inch prop. So yeah, these 1204s are a lot better than the 1105s were, but if I'm totally honest, this is still, 12 millimeters is still not enough stator width for a 3-inch prop. This rig, if I was going to continue, and I might, I don't know, I have a feeling I'm just going to leave it here, to be real honest, but if I did continue to develop this rig, the very next thing that I would do would be to go over to 1303 motors from Kebab, FPV cycle. So, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. The things that I don't like about this setup are this TPU canopy. It is very, very heavy, and so this rig is basically a little over 100 grams all up on a 3S 300, and that's just a little too much for toothpicks. This class of quad with, you know, these little tiny motors really wants to be sub 80 grams, it seems, from Kebab's testing and all the folks in his Facebook group. So. But like I said, these 1204s are a lot better than the 1105s were, so definite improvement there. I also fixed, so when this came from GepRC, all of the stack mounting here was done with plastic standoffs and plastic screws, and of course they exploded on like the second battery or so. So yeah, I took all those out and basically ran one big long M2 by... It was either an M2 by 20 or it could have been an M2 by 25 screw, all the way up from the bottom to the very top. The one thing I do like about this TPU canopy is that it has holes in it for the stack screws. That's kind of slick because that makes sure that this stack isn't all wobbly. Like it wobbles a little bit there, as you can see with the TPU, just because the TPU is not super rigid. But it doesn't seem to wiggle quite enough to give the flight controller issues. What else can I say about this? So yeah, I ran that one screw up, and then I took some rubber grommets and I cut them down into the correct lengths. so that there's enough room in between all three of these boards. We've got the AIO down on the bottom here, with the USB peeking through a nice little hole that they put in the base plate, and then these other two, oh, actually no, it's on the left and right. Oh no, I was right. Yeah, so this is cut here for. Wait, no, it's not. Where the hell were the Where the hell were the? So I direct soldered this. I took the plug headers off, and I direct soldered this, and I'm trying to find where. Oh, there they were. Okay, so the plug headers were here in this slot that I'm now using for the battery strap. It does have a battery strap slot there, but it's a little bit too narrow for the fatter, like 450 mAh batteries. So yeah, I broke those plug headers up. Well, removed those plug headers, and I direct soldered the motors to the pads on top. Good on GepRC for putting pads up on top, specifically meant to direct solder the motors. I like that. Yeah, this GepRC AIO has been totally fine. So if you're looking for a good AIO, it looks like this one by GepRC is a pretty good one here. And apparently it can take all the way up to 4S, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, reusing those the slots in the frame here for the battery strap, and then I switched all the hardware over. The hardware that they shipped it with was stripping out like really easily. I just guess it was kind of cheap hardware. Put these minuscule little LED race wires on, shrink wrap them down to the arms, which is my favorite thing to do. It's not always possible, but if you can shrink wrap your race wires down to the arm, it's so clean. Make sure that you get a little bit of VHB under it, because you want to make sure that you insulate the the race wires, the race LED wires from the carbon, which is conductive. And I think that's about it. It came with these. I replaced one of these forever tubes with just a piece of shrink wrap here to protect this one receiver antenna. Eventually I'll do that to this side when it eventually lets go. That saves a little bit of weight. And I think that's about it. Other than that, it is set up as it came. So let's, this will probably be a little bit of a shorter Quaranstream, unless I get into fixing some stuff, which I might. But yeah, ooh, it also came with this capacitor here, which is really nice. That's a good little spot for it. They put it on little wires, which is great, and then they shrink wrapped it down to the battery lead. So there's some things that I really like about this. I don't love the VTX. It's awful big. It seems like it's awful heavy. It's got two big giant plug headers on it. So VTX isn't the best, but it is mounted in the stack, which is, I don't know, I guess kind of nice, maybe, if you're into that sort of thing. I would rather, again, if I did continue to develop this, I would probably pull this VTX out of here and just put a little Ishii Nano in, and just maybe run a zip tie around two of these little holes in the TPU to hold it to the top of the TPU. That would save a little bit of weight, and it would free up some room in the stack here. I could drop these screws. Well, no, I have to run these screws high, but I could drop the back screw down a little bit shorter. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty good. It's a shame. I'm having a real hard time finding a canopy that. So one of the things I really like about this canopy is that it actually pushes the camera forward. See how the camera's here? On a lot of toothpicks, the camera is dead center, and that picks up the motors in the field of view, which I really don't like. So I've been having a hell of a time finding a canopy where it pushes the camera forward like this, but it's not all made of TPU and heavy as hell. So yeah, and if you guys know of any, it has to have 14 millimeter FPV camera mounts, because I am trying to get HD on all my rigs nowadays. And yeah, so if you guys know of one that's like molded plastic or lighter than this one, let me know, because the canopy is one of the things holding me back from doing a legit TP3 build with Kebab's frame. So let's get into it. Let's plug this fella in. We'll look at where it's at right now. It is raining. I wanted to get out and do a quick flight with it for you guys, but I have been flying it a bunch, And like I said, the tune is about as far as I can put it. Oh man, is the audio doing that bullshit again? Hold on. The audio was doing this yesterday. It's really awkward. Hold on. Alright, so I just quit. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it at the bottom of the volume meter. It never zeroes out. God damn it. I mean, fucking OBS, man. Come on, dude. Stand by. Nah, it's not hardware. The mic is sitting right here, just like it always is. I can't unplug the mic, because if I unplug the mic, OBS will lose it. There's no, you literally have to you have to launch OBS while the mic is on. For Christ's sakes, Larry. So it's not that. Well, let me try this. I'll be right back. Well, that looks like it's even worse. No, it's not actually worse. It was just worse because the volume is turned up. Alright, let me keep trying to figure this out. Okay, so I just turned on the webcam audio, and it looks like it's doing it with the oh, here, let me go back to it. So this is the webcam audio, and from the volume meter, it looks like it's still doing it. So it must be software related, I guess, because the webcam is plugged into a completely different location. Let me start unplugging USB devices. You guys are saying the webcam is better. So I also went to ultra low latency, and my God, the delay in the chat is a lot less now, which is kind of cool. It doesn't look like it's fixed though, because the webcam is still not zeroing out on the volume meter. Oh wait, hold on a second. It's not the fan, is it? Hold on. All right, let me. I can't imagine it was the fan, but let's just make sure.
I put the air on. Is it affecting something?
No.
Okay.
So that's back to the Zoom mic. And this is now with the fan off. Any better? Still fucked up, right? Okay, I'm gonna keep unplugging USB stuff. Stand by. Oh my God. Wait, let me try this. Nope, still there. It's not these speakers. Because we're using the webcam mic. I bet you if I restart the computer, it goes away. All right, give me a second. I gotta put this fan back on. It's 7,000 degrees in here. All right, fan is back on. This is the webcam audio for the record. Let me see if I turned the Zoom mic off, which is my normal microphone. I'm turning it back on right now, but it won't show up. Yeah, the Zoom mic is not. It will not show up if you power it on while OBS is running. You have to quit out of OBS. Oops. Yeah, see, OBS is unbelievable. Like, never mind. I'm not gonna go down that road. Okay, so no Zoom mic for this stream. We'll just use the webcam mic and yeah. All right, so I gotta set the volume on this. Hold on, stand by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that's where I need the webcam volume to be. All right, so let's stop screwing around with this. Start screwing around with Betaflight. Although the chat blew up and there's a bunch of questions, so all right, let me figure out how to get this mic over closer. I guess I just need to do this, and then I'll just do that. You know what? You guys don't need to look at the quad. It's just going to sit there plugged in. Okay, so in the chat, Pesky FPV, what's up, Ciotti and everybody? Good to be back in the hive. Good to have you, Pesky. Paulie Lee FPV. Good night, enjoy, cheers. Paulie Lee, you're probably not here anymore, but sweet dreams. Paletheus has a Jumper T16, and it keeps fail-safing on FreeSky randomly, consistently. I'm running XM Plus and the internal module on the Jumper. Any ideas on solutions/problems? Paletheus, you've got to find someone else with FreeSky, and you've got to bind, I mean, you don't have to, but you should, bind their radio up to that XM Plus and see if the problem is there. And that's how you can isolate whether the problem is your Jumper T16 and or its internal module or the XM Plus. Or if you have another receiver, swap in a different receiver, and you can kind of do the same thing. Mark Kunoff, you will be assimilated by the Borg hive mind. That is, hell yeah. Freelojo, not sure 100% on symptoms. I plug in the battery as destructions say and hit bind, and then on the transmitter, but don't seem to be getting communications. Freelojo, where? Okay. Ferd is Herb, Tiny Hawk, T16. Freelojo. Hit bind. TX doesn't seem to be getting communication. So is or isn't it binding? Like, is it binding and giving you the green light, or does it just keep going with the red light and or the flashing red light? Yannick G saw these JHEMCU isn't that bad of a brand. Their 30x30 flight controller is pretty decent. 30 amp looks interesting. Oh yeah, right, on Pyrodrome. Nice. Tim Kukulas, hey, what props do you recommend for 1105 motors? Because I just got some and they don't fit. My preferred prop on 1105 is a Emax A-Van 4-blade or 3-blade. And then if you don't like those, GemFan just came out with a 2-inch prop that's really good as well. Boom. Okay, so here's where the audio went to shit. Static, static, static. Lower pitched props. The mic, the mic, the mic. Okay. And mic, 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 mic. Okay. I love how like every time I turn on OBS, there's another problem that just like another brand new problem. Salmon fry. I don't know why I keep saying salmon. Salmon fry. Do you 3D print your own stuff? I do not, Salmon. I don't have room for a 3D printer, and this office that everything is in here also gets really hot, and I know that 3D printers get quite hot as well. So yeah, I don't typically need 3D printed stuff all that often. When I do, I just get it from BMC 3D. I love supporting Brent. He does great stuff. Alright. And beat the mic, smash the mic, kill, kill, kill. Webcam is better, it's fixed. Webcam sounds great, it's better. Static is back, that's bad, still there. Alright. It's only when you speak. Oh, that's weird. Webcam is fine for the stream. Pull the stream up on your phone to hear it. Oh, that's a good idea. Gain is now up on the webcam, so we should be good. My webcam sounds good. Roscoe Sticks, how are you? And hey, look at that. We're caught up. I'll be damned. Hopefully you guys haven't been looking at this credit card, although it won't really get you very far. Alright, so we've got the GepRC Skip 3D HD plugged in. Let me just check OBS, make sure. Okay, we're good. Well, shit. Were you guys looking at that credit card? No, because it was here. Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. I guess I can get rid of this. I'll put this over here. Okay. Alright, so let's get into it. This is going to be like I'm just going to go from scratch, top to bottom here. And so anybody who's wanting to upgrade from 3.57 to 4.1 or 4.2 or upgrade from 4.1 to 4.2, here is my preferred method of doing that. There are multiple ways to do this, but this is one of the safer ways to do it. So we're going to connect, and then we're just going to come in here, and there's no real settings in here, but there are settings on the port tab, and I just do a quick screenshot, and then I hop over here to the configuration tab, do a quick screenshot here. Just I have most of this stuff kind of sort of memorized, but just in case like there's any weirdness that happens, it's nice to have these, because as soon as we update, it's going to erase the previous completely. So this is just like a really quick, easy, dirty way of having a record of all your previous settings, which is, yeah, I mean, you can try to do dumps, you can try to do diffs and all that kind of stuff, but they all carry with them some risks. And with these screenshots, I can also make a quick folder with today's date and the name of this rig, so that I have like a record of where it was, and then if somebody needs that, then they can have it. Motors, there's no real settings in. OSD, there are settings. With the OSD, I do pull that out of the CLI, so I'll show you how to do that in a second. There is no black box on this. So for the OSD, I don't think you can type like get OSD or anything like that. Oh, look, you can. I'll be damned. So is this everything? Is this the oh, so that's cool. Okay, so there you go. Type in get, G-E-T. I'll type it into the chat. If you type into the CLI get OSD, there it is, GET space OSD. It will give you all of your OSD settings, and then what you can do is come in here and just go top to bottom, copy them all, and pull up any old text editor software, paste it in there, and now you're going to be able to paste this right back in, and most of this will transfer. All of it will not, but most of this will transfer over. So I'm also, while I'm at it, I'm not going to do that. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to, come on. Yeah, don't save. Delete copy. There we go. I'm just going to open Apple S, and this is going to be 2020-5-5 GepRC Skip 3 HD. So there you guys go. In, I don't know, 60 seconds or so, you've got everything from this, not everything, but most of, you know, it's a good idea at this point. Here's the full Majimbo. Space down, give yourself a big space there, and then come in here and type in dump. And now dump will give you everything. And like, when I say everything, I mean everything. So by coming in here and doing this dump, you will literally have every single thing from this configuration. So now you just find where the dump started, come in here, copy, and you can throw it after a great big space into your document here, hit save again, and there you go. Now you have the entire 3.5.7 config, just in case somebody needs it, right? Like if somebody messages me and says, hey, I have a GepRC Skip and I need the entire CLI dump from it, I've got it. So, right, so that's pretty much it. We've just taken everything out of the current setup. Now we're going to go up here to update firmware. And before I do that, I'm going to connect again, and I'm going to look up here in the top left corner for my target. And it looks like the target is Maytech F411. That's important. You need to remember that, because that's what you need to do in a second here to choose the right target for the firmware you're going to load. If you don't, if your version of the configurator doesn't say the target up here, the older configurators will not have this little area here. All is not lost. All you got to do is go to the CLI and type in the word version, VERSION, return, and it will give you your target right here. There's your target. So Maytech F411. Let's go up to update firmware, and it doesn't usually automatically drop it in there for you, but I selected this yesterday, I want to say. So Maytech F411, that's the right one. And then sometimes you'll see there's two of them, MTKS and Legacy. I keep meaning to do a little bit of research as to what the difference is. I've just been using the MTKS. I haven't had to use the Legacies yet. So yeah, I'm just going to use the MTKS again here. If anybody in the chat knows what the difference is between the MTKSs and the Legacies, do me a favor and drop some knowledge in the chat. I am going to go all the way up to 4.2 RC1. The release candidates are the nightlies I am afraid of. The release candidates I'm a lot less afraid of. I do try my best to wait for the official releases, but hey, we're going to push the envelope today. High Metal with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Do you think 5-inch rigs will start to become uncommon in light of the 250 gram rule, especially as smaller drones get better? I do not, High Metal, because the 5-inch rigs are still really what's needed to really move an 80 gram GoPro Session or 120 gram GoPro Hero around really comfortably. And I don't think the 250 gram rule is going to make much of a difference here in the US. So we'll see, but yeah, I think 5-inch rigs are here to stay, but I do think that more and more people that don't have micros are going to get into it. Great question though. Roscoe Sticks, I'm good. Have a brand new laptop, couple weeks, and a new Runham 5 Orange. Things are looking up. Awesome, Roscoe. Love it. CiottiFPV says you're good. Couldn't see your credit card number. Awesome. Motor Mat, Beta FPV 75X should be running D-Shot 600 or 300. Motor Mat, if it's not on it kind of depends. If it's an F3 processor and it's on the RPM filters, you're going to want D-Shot 300. If it's an F4, I meant to say F4 processor, not F3. If it's not running RPM filtering, you can go up to D-Shot 600 and you'll be totally fine. Mark Kunoff, I do screenshots too, especially applying defaults after 4 point whatever firmware flash. Steve-O, been flying Tiny Hawk FS today. Love them micros. Hell yeah, man. Meatquad Fairy, do you need to update your configurator? You do not. The configurators very rarely need to be updated. The newer configurators are nicer, but I don't update mine as often as I should. Weirdo with a skateboard, sure glad to be... Wait. Sure you'll be glad that now that I've rebranded my FPV channel to Duct Tape FPV. Nice, brother. Tiago says it's the same thing. Legacy settings, in the legacy settings are compiled into the code and are deprecated, and those targets are going to disappear. The normal target, the configurator is injected after a flash. Okay, cool. Blunny says the manufacturer targets load an extra set of default. Ah, okay. I had a feeling it might be something like that. Load an extra, which you guys will get to see this in a second. Load an extra set of defaults that remap or assign new pins compared to the legacy targets, which just use the default pin remapping for the processor. Nice. New config out 10.7. I think I'm still in 10.6. Yeah, I am. Right. So okay, so we've got Maytech F411, and we're not using the legacy. We're using the MTKS, and then we've selected 4.2.0 RC1. Full chip erase should always be on. In order to be able to see the release candidate, you have to have this checked, the show unstable releases. Oh, now I'm gonna have to pick Maytech F411 again. No, I'm not. I remembered. So Maytech F411, and we're gonna go up to what? Why is it not there all of a sudden? Maytech F411 MTKS. What the hell? I guess we're not doing 4.2. Huh. Well, that's kind of annoying, but not the end of the world. So we'll do 4.1.6, I guess. Looks like they don't have a release candidate for this specific target quite yet, I'm guessing. That's weird. Let me just double check. Maytech F411. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, Maytech F411. Interesting. Oh well. Well, now I'm curious. Which did it think it had? Whatever. Maytech F411 MTKS 4.1.6. That's totally fine. Full chip erase, and we're going to load firmware online. This is going to contact Betaflight and download the actual 4.1.6 firmware for this specific target. It is now done because the flash firmware button has gone from gray to yellow. So now we're just going to hit flash firmware. Ah, son of a bitch. Good call, Boom. Good call, Boom. I just saw that. Okay. So that's a good little learning experience for you guys. We're just going to let this flash, and then I'm going to show you what happened, why that release candidate went away. So I forgot, there's actually two things that you need to do to get access to the release candidates. One of them is to flip the switch like I showed you, but then the other one is to drop this box down, select build type to see available boards. That's not the right caption there. But this is just on the release option. I need to move this to the release and unstable releases option. And I'll do that as soon as this is done here. Okay, so now it's on 4.1.6, but like I just said, I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to change it to release and release candidate. And now we're going to have our 4.2.0 release candidate 1. That's what RC1 stands for, release candidate 1. And we're going to load firmware online. Give it a second, and now we're going to flash firmware. As it's flashing, I'll usually just kind of see how much of this I can read through. Really, really good info in here. And if you click these numbers, it'll bring you to GitHub for more information on each one of these new advancements in the new software that you're putting on there. So Betaflight 4.2 brings some changes to how targets are downloaded and installed. I didn't know that. Latest version of configurator contains the changes necessary to support this. For this reason, it's important that you update. I guess I do have to update. No, I won't. See if it'll be alright. Roscoe6 says, doesn't flashing 4.2 mess up smart audio? I hope not. I would think that I would just need to throw the VTX table on it. But we'll find out. Hey, there we go. Okay, so it's done. I'm gonna go to the. I'm gonna grab the new configurator because of what it says here. So the bolded text are hyperlinks. So here we go. Beta flight configurator 10.7. Oh, this is the release candidate configurator. Look at that. All right. Scroll down a little bit and wait, no, not scroll down. It's what do you click here? Fucking GitHub, man. GitHub always confuses the shit out of me. 10.7. Where the hell do you download it, you wangers? If you find a bug, hit here. Register here. New features, fixes, language. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. So we want macOS. All right. Alright, and let's run this guy. Got this fucker installed. Come on, come on, come on. So I'm gonna change the name of this. Ugh. God damn it. Let me change the name here, you fuckers. Come on. Just because it's locked? No. It's because it's on a disk image. So we'll do that, and then we'll say keep both, and I think it'll change the name of this one to like Betaflight Configurator 1 or some shit. Alright, or 2, there it goes. Okay, so leave that there, fire this thing up, eject, delete, give this a second. It's probably going to trigger the, oh my god, security settings. Give this a second or two. Ooh, I'm hungry. I am a hungry son of a bitch. Pesky FPV says, have you seen the new rate modes added? I have not. I'm not sure I understand them. Hopefully I do. What other chats have I missed here? Looks like we're alright. Come on, man. Sometimes this takes so fucking long. Come on, bro. Verify it and launch it, you prick. Oh, it's because this one's running. Yeah, let me kill that and then I'll redo it here. It should be a little bit better. Oh my god, I feel like I don't got a computer anymore. I used to be so good. I used to troubleshoot for money Mac OS 9 way back when. And then when OS X came out, I stopped doing that. And I've been progressively getting worse and worse at computering over the years. That was back before like the internet as we know it. That was back in the days of like Alta Vista as a search engine. Okay, so screw you too. I guess let's work on something while we're waiting here. Might as well. There we go, that's better. So the, hold on. So the, each one of the scenes has its own setup of stuff. So when I change the scene, I don't usually use this microphone, so as soon as I change the scene, it tried to go back to the Zoom mic only. Thanks for the, thanks for the heads up, guys. And Betaflight Configurator 2 is done verifying, and it's opening up, of course. But since the soldering iron is up to temperature, let's finish this up here, and then I'll put the new flight controller in this at some point tonight, tomorrow night, probably tomorrow. Probably do it on tomorrow's Quaranstream. So let's just pull this guy apart. Oh, that was bad. When you're desoldering wires, be more careful than I just was. It just happened again. About them slipping out of the tweezers because they've got liquid solder on them, and they will can and will flick solder balls. And if you don't see where the solder balls go, could be a bad day for you. Don't really care about being messy because this board is shot to shit. Alright, I think that might be it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. More on the bottom. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, so they're soldered towards the inside. There we go. Move the work. Don't move your hands unless you have to. And let's get these guys off of here. Alright. Look at this Weller, man. Look at this thing. It's just a fucking animal. Soldering iron is mega. I love this tip, man. This is the best tip, hands down, I've ever used. It's the perfect size chisel tip. Let me show you guys. This is like, ugh, it's just the right size. It's not going to focus, but whatever. Alright, so we're good. That flight controller is out of there. I'm going to rob these. I like these gummies here, so I am going to rob these from it. But you guys don't need to see me do that. I will leave this plug header in here. And yeah, we'll get this thing fixed up and back on its feet with a Talon F4. I think this is a Talon F4. Let me take a look. Talon STM 32 F405. Yep, so that's a Talon F4 going on in there, and then I will get it shipped on out. I'm just glad I'm going to have this out the door before the 200 patron next full build giveaway. Okay, let's get back to the matter at hand. Open anyway. Come on, man. Come on, computer. Get with it. Hey, Marley Leppo with 20 Norwegian kroner. What's up? Still building? It's yesterday's quad. We are putting yesterday's quad. We are upgrading yesterday's quad from 3.5.7 to 4.2 release candidate 1, and now it's verifying again. Come the fuck on. Alright. I guess we'll do more work over here while it's verifying a second time. Damn, dude. Jesus. Again, if you want me to see your comment, you got to type at CiottiFPV and then type your comment, and that will light it up in orange so that I can see it. Please and thank you. So let's, you know what we'll do? We'll tin this board. By the time we're done tinning this board, hopefully the computer will be happy enough with its verification process to allow me to actually do something. So what do we got? Cam C, cam. It's probably gonna get really loud. Hold on, let me back off the webcam audio level. Like I'm getting all close to the webcam now, so it's gonna get louder and louder and louder. So cam C is probably cam control. We don't need that. Cam S is cam signal. We do want that. So let's tin that one. And what are the rest of these guys? Cam positive, cam negative, telemetry, ground 5 volt, and what's that? Man, I can barely read that. Cam positive and negative, we might as well tin those. We might use those. Yeah, we are going to use those actually, because they're here at the front of the board. So one of the things I love about this board, it's got the camera pads on one side of the board, and then it's got the VTX pads on the other side of the board, which is really, really nice. That basically eliminates the needs to run video wires across the length of the board, which you wouldn't think is that big of a deal, but it really, really, really is. Alright, so now we got our VTX pads back here, and I'm struggling to read this, God damn it. This new configurator will not run. It just refuses to run. What the hell? Alright. Weird with Skateboard says, sorry for I answered it, phone died, but if you didn't, working on a big FPV collaboration, was wondering if you'd be interested. Yeah, man, totally. I'm interested in all kinds of wacky stuff. Message me, CiottiFPV on Facebook or Instagram. Let's talk. Carl says 1104 8300 kV for 2.5-inch setup, running 3S. What do you think? That is going to be an awful lot of RPM for 3S. I would actually want that on 2S. And a 2.5-inch prop, unless it's a bi-blade, is going to be a little bit much for 1104s. So I would maybe drop that down to either run a 2.5-inch bi-blade or drop down to a 2-inch prop. Even on 2.5-inch arms, a 2mm prop will be totally fine. That's where I would go with that setup. Actually, if you're hellbent on 3S, I would run that on. You would be fine with a 2-inch prop. So a couple different options there for you. Either go down to 2S if you're going to stick with 2.5-inch. I would definitely go to a bi-blade because that 1104, that basically the 11mm wide stator of that 1104 is just not going to have enough torque for a 3 or 4 blade 2.5-inch propeller. It's only really going to have enough torque to properly control a bi-blade 2.5-inch or a tri or quad blade 2-inch. So yeah, a couple different options there for you. Remy Tim says, did you see the new Tiny Tramp VTX? I did, and I'm so goddamn excited. I have a stock alert with Pyrodrone. The second that thing comes in and I get that email, I am ordering a couple. I'm a huge fan of Immersion RC products. The head guy of Immersion RC, Anthony Tramp, or not Tramp, Jesus Christ, Tony Cake rather, is a great guy, and he makes really, really good products. I am having a hell of a time reading this silkscreen, so I'm gonna have to get the loop out for my old eyes. VTX S, VTX plus, VTX minus. There we go. That's what I needed. So I want those 3 pads, and then I guess I could use the motor 1, 2, 3, 4 pads. Yeah, I'll just do these 3 real quick. Eventually this fucking computer will open the new configurator. Or not. Try it one more time, and then I'm just gonna smash everything in sight. So I hope you guys are ready for that, because it's coming. It's in that one. It's in that one. It's in that one. And does this have those little half pads to adjust the, no, it does not. To adjust the output. What do we have over here? We've got 3v3, ground, 5 volt. Did we have a 5 volt on the front? Yeah, we do. Cam plus is going to be 5 volt, I believe. So we're good there. I guess I'll use the plug header for the motor pads. That's fine. Nah, you know what? Screw that. I'm gonna hard solder this. Since this is going out to somebody that I really want to be able to pound the shit out of it, I'm gonna use the. I'm gonna hard solder the motor signal wires here. Just make it that much more durable. There is no current sensor on the thing. Here's VBAT. I do want to tin VBAT, and then I might as well tin ground next to it. Actually, no, I'm not going to tin ground next to it because the ground is going to come up. Oh, yeah, I do need the tin ground. That's right. Ground is going to come up from the plug header of the ESC. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, this is going to take up all the ESC wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, current, and not current, VBAT and ground. And so the only other pads I need are the whatever the hell the pads they are they want you to run the receiver from. And I believe that is UART3. Oh. Is the configurator finally opening over here? Please. Ah, there we go. Thank Christ. Okay. Shutting off the Weller. Oh, man. Even the power switch on the Weller has this, like, feel to it. Oh, it's so good. For anybody wondering what I'm verbally masturbating about, for my birthday a couple weeks ago, I got a Weller 1010. $100 on Amazon, and man, it is nice. It is really nice. Okay, so new configurator. I think we're still plugged in. Yeah, quad's still plugged in. So let's go update firmware, show unstable releases, release and release candidate, and we're gonna go to hell. What did I say it was? Maytech F411. Was that it? Let's see if it'll even connect. Apply custom defaults. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. I just want to see what it is. Maytech F411. Yeah, that's the one. So let's go back in here. Choose a board. Maytech F411. Not Mamba. Maytech F411. There we go. And then we're going to go 4.2 RC1. I don't know if I actually need to do this, but I'm just going to be safe. Flash firmware. And what's going on in the chat over here, fellas? Oh, it just occurred to me that I'm not showing you guys what I'm doing. Okay, that's weird. Load firmware. Flash firmware. It is in DFU. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Diago. Roscoe Sticks. So does that mean you have to use a PDB? I don't know what you mean, Rock. No, it doesn't mean that you need to run a PDB. The board is just going to use the virtual current sensing. Weirdo with a skateboard. There we go. I messaged you on Facebook. Thanks for that. Carl says, great advice. It's the only kind of advice I give, man. Great advice. Thanks for hanging, guys. The Quaranstream is in full effect, man. Day 2. There we go. Alright, so just to be sure, I redid that. And apply custom defaults. That is a great little feature that is going to apply a couple of the standard kind of things. What's this saying? Following problems with your configuration were detected. Accelerometer is not, it is enabled, but it's not calibrated. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. That's a great little warning. Good job, guys. Let's get it somewhat flat, and we'll make sure that it's, oh yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, well, I'll calibrate it. What the hell? It's pretty flat right now. Calibrate accelerometer. There we go. Okay, now it's happy. So let's see how good those defaults that it applied were. Let's come down here, and now I want to leave this. We'll go in here, we'll go to desktop, and we'll just start ripping through these. What did you just message me, Daniel? Oh, you messaged me the mini tramp. Is it in stock and I didn't see the email? That's a total possibility. All right, so let's see. UART2. Okay, so it's already wrong. All right, so we want to go UART2 here. We want to turn it off of UART1. We want to take this, and we're going to go to the tramp protocol, save and reboot. And that's going to match it up with the previous setup here. So there it goes. I'm going to turn on auto connect just for the time being. I always like to go back into the ports tab and just make sure that it's stuck. And we're good to go. Alright, so next screenshot is the configuration tab. Let's take a look here. And we are not running reversed motors. We are going to run bidirectional D-shot, but I believe you need to update the ESCs first. So we're going to leave that alone. Oh, look, it's locked in at 8K. Interesting. That's new. This is an F4, so I am going to keep the PID loop down on 4K. And you know what? Let's stop here, and we're going to do the ESCs. All right, so let's disconnect from here. I got to grab a battery. Hang on a second. Ugh. I know this battery's got a bunch of charge left in it. Let me just drop it on the floor. All right, good. So let's head over. I'm gonna try. You know what? Let me see something. I haven't looked back at Jazz Mavericks in a hot minute. I've just been using JESC for everything. But let me see if 32.7 is in the regular BL Heli yet. Let's apply power to the quad. Alright, so now we're going to drop down here and connect with OG BL Heli config. Alright, so look at that, they're on 16.7 already. What? Well, that's pretty cool. Huh. So, what? That's pretty neat. Alright. Oh, but look at that, 16.71. Interesting. Okay. I'm not gonna go to that unstable one. Well, shit, I guess... No, let me check this. Hold on. I've got it hooked up. Let's go to configuration and let's just turn on bidirectional. I can almost guarantee that they've got 12 magnets, so let's drop down to 12. We're going to go down to D-Shot 300. We're going to keep it at 4K, accelerometer on. Do that. Just do a couple quick things here. Soft serial does not need to be on. Telemetry, yes. Air mode, no, because I want the ability to turn it off. Kick these guys on. I just went through this at 7,000 miles an hour. Sorry, guys. Save and reboot. Oh, that was weird. I only got a single beep, so I think there is an issue. Yeah, okay, so it's not happy. Let's just recheck the config tab to make sure I didn't miss anything. Bidirectional, D-Shot 300, 4K, accelerometer, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I might need to go up to 32.71. It's still over there beeping. Yeah, okay, so I need to disconnect here. I gotta put it onto that 0.71. Whoa. Oh man, this thing's over here freaking out. I might have just run this battery to like no volts per cell. Let me disconnect real quick. Ugh. Let's see where this battery is at. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh no, we're good. 3.7. 3.7. I think I just did everything at a weird. I don't know. Let's just start over. Here we go. Okay. Oh, it's being so funny. It's only giving me one of the connection beeps, but it did give me the first three beeps, so we should. Oh my god, this thing is acting really. Oh! I know the problem. The problem is that I turned on bidirectional. Yeah, you still can't. Oh, there it goes. It got all four of them. Look at that. Okay, so maybe I'm okay. Let's just try to go to the 16.7.1 flash. We'll give this some time. Yeah, usually you have when you turn on bidirectional D-Shot without updating the ESCs first, all kinds of weird shit happens. So, in theory, this should fix it. The weirdness. Come on, fella, go faster. So this is going to put us on the and while this is happening, just make sure that this here changes to the new version 16.71, 16.71, 16.71, and when this is finished, you'll see it'll flop over to 16.71. And there we go, 16.71 on all four. Beacon delay, always drop that down to, I mean, you don't have to, but I like to drop it down to 2 minutes so that if it's stuck somewhere I can't find it for 2 minutes, just sitting there, it'll start beeping. Motor timing, I go up to medium high. Brake on stop, I turn on, and I always move up the beep strength and the beacon delay. Beep strength is just for the startup beep, so you can actually turn that down, but the beacon strength, you always want that one up high so you can hear the damn thing. So let's right setup, and now we can disconnect. We can connect. Come over here to motors, and hey, look at that. They be spinning. Look at that. Oh my god, this thing is so hot from being plugged in. Jesus. Okay. Kill it. Page down. And disconnect power. Wait, no, let's turn this off, and then we'll pull power. God damn, that VTX got hot in a hurry. Hopefully it's okay. Okay, so we've got 3271 on there. MotorMat says, is there any way to figure out what amperage an ESC is? I got some secondhand stuff off Craigslist. 4-in-1 ESC 20x20 stack paired with a Luminaire Microlux 4. I don't think there is MotorMat, but if you take pictures of the stuff that you don't know what it is and post it on the internet, I bet you somebody will be able to recognize the damn thing. If you're a patron, down below there's a link to my Discord. If you go post the pictures in the Discord, that's where all the smartest people hang out, and we'll hopefully figure out what the hell it is for you, so we can tell you what. Yeah, once we figure out which ESC it is, we'll just look the specs up online. We can tell you what what the hell it is. You're welcome, brother. Alright, so let's get back into the configuration. I went 7 million miles an hour through the actual config here just because I wanted to check the motors out. But on our old one, motor direction is reversed, is turned off. Let's fix... Actually, no. I'm going to leave this one props in because the front and back of this thing are going to keep the junk out. If I run this props out, it's going to throw all kinds of shit into the stack, and I just don't want to deal with that. So I'll just run this rig props in. That's fine. It was on 8K, 8K. It had the accelerometer turned on, so we're good there. 8K, 4K. We went down to 4 because we're doing RPM filtering now, and it's only an F4 processor. Arming, I always put up to 180. Personalization for your name. Serial based and S-Bus because it's a FR Sky XM Plus, I believe. You want to leave this RSSI signal strength off, and telemetry I want on, OSD on, anti-gravity on, and dynamic filter on. Air mode I turn off because I do that in the modes tab. D-shot beacon configuration, you got to turn both of these guys on in order for the ESC beeper to work, so we're good. Didn't change anything, but we'll save and reboot just to be sure. And okay, so let's go to the power and battery tab. This should just default to the right settings, or at least close enough. Although look at that, the amperage meter is way different. Scale 110, divider 10, onboard ADC, onboard ADC, so that's good. 3.4, 3.5. So we'll leave this guy alone. Let's come into the PIDs tab. Now the PIDs are going to be totally different. Since we've changed from 357 to 4.1, most of this is going to be kind of fresh. So I'll show you guys I'm a little hungry right now, so I'm going to kind of blow through this. This is not going to be the last time that I do this, and you guys can rewind on this. So feed-forward transition, I maxed that out all the way up to 1.0. That makes the starts and stops of all of your motions a little bit softer. Throttle boost, 5 is pretty good. I'm actually going to jump that up to 6 just to kind of start playing around with that. Dynamic idle value. Let's take a quick look at this. Joshua Bardwell has a great video on dynamic idle. By the end of the video, I realized that their default values were pretty damn locked in on 4.1, but it looks like they've zeroed this out, which is interesting. Control low RPM reduces the risk of desyncs, corrects problems with airflow, speeding up, slowing down. Pit authority. Dynamic idle RPM should be set to about 20% below the RPM over your D-shot idle value in the motors tab. Okay. Usually there's no need to change your D-shot idle value from defaults. Longer invert hang time, D-shot actually lowered together. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so 20% below your D-shot idle value. So I think I put it at 5.5. Yeah, 5.5 is their new default, which is fine. I'm fine with that. So that is 5.5%. That's a percentage-based reading. So dynamic idle value, what did they say? 20%? Should be about 20% below your D-shot idle. So let's run this at 5. So it's times 100 RPM, so that's 500 RPM. Does that sound right? Why not? We'll give it a shot. We'll give 5 a shot and see how it is, and then we'll move from there. Absolute control is not finished. I do not use it. I-term rotation is for line of sight mainly. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's I-term. I always get rotation and relax mixed up. So you can leave this on set point now that they've fixed it, but I prefer it on gyro, and I'm going to move the cutoff down to 10, and we're going to leave it on roll and pitch only. Let me get the chat back up in front of me. Gyro alignment is different between the two configs, says Stephen Rossi. Where the hell's gyro alignment? Oh, in the config tab. Good call. So here's how you check the gyro alignment. In here, forward is forward, back is back, tilt left, tilt right, rotate left, rotate right. So the gyro alignment is fine. It's weird that it was different on the old config. Let me take a look. That's interesting. So on the old config, it was all set to defaults. But yeah, look at that. That's weird. First, clockwise 180. Huh. Yeah, I don't know why it's different now, but as long as you go in here to setup and you confirm that forward is forward, backward is backward, left, right, rotate, rotate, you're good to go. Good catch. Interesting. Interesting that they're different. Very strange. First gyro. Yeah, look at that. Very weird. Please, somebody please. Oh, yeah. Somebody make a note. Somebody drop a comment with the timestamp if you don't mind. Whenever the hell we started playing with the config. Oh, hey, Mark Spatz is here. Mark, how the hell are you, man? Thanks for coming. For 5.5% D shot idle, set the motors tab to 1055 and see what ARP. Yeah. That's right. I remember when Joshua was doing that. All right, so let's do that. Let's do what Mark says because he knows more than all of us combined. Hey! All right, plugging a battery back in. We're gonna pull the quad over towards the microphone so you guys can hear it. And we are gonna follow Mark's instructions. So, for 5.5% D-shot idle, set the motors tab to 1055 and see what the RPM is of the motors. All right. So we're going to set this to, oh, hello, a granola bar from my wonderful wife.
I heard you.
Thank you. Okay. 1055. All right. RPM is dithering between 1900 and change, and the highest that I'm seeing is 2100 and change. So we're going to average that out and say 2000. All right. Hey, Mark, did you know this? Page up and page down. Look at this. It goes up by 100. And then the end button zeroes it completely out. I just learned that recently. I thought it was kind of cool. What did I say? 2000? All right. So then, hold on, guys. I'm eating a granola bar. I don't want to die of hunger on the stream. That wouldn't be a good look for me. Okay. Nope. Here we go. Okay, 2000 multiplied by 0.8, 1600. All right. So then that means I want to go to 16 on this. Well, you look at that. They should put that in the. They should put that in here. Oh wait, they did. Okay. Cool. Thanks for the slap upside the head, Mark. I needed it. 2000 times 28 is 1600, so set D shot idle is 16. Cool. Or dynamic idle, right? Or no, D shot idle. Wait, D shot idle. Did you mean to say dynamic idle? I think, right? Yeah, he did. Because this is not called D shot idle, is it? This is called motor idle. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Well, you know what? So then, how would you lower it? Oh, okay. I see. Wait, hold on. Let me think through this. Let me make sure I understand this because I know I'm going to get questions on this. For 5%, for 5.5. Oh, okay. So that was that 1055 number. I gotcha. So for me, if I wanted to drop my motor idle down to 5%, I would go into the motors tab and set them to 1050, look at what the RPM is, and then take that RPM times 0.8. Okay, got it. Okay, that's sweet. So let me take you guys on a little journey, just to make sure that you understand it. So 5.5% is the default motor idle throttle value. Okay, so 5.5% is the default, and that means that the process that you saw me just go through with Mark's help is how you would set your dynamic idle value if you just want to stay with that default of 5.5. But so again, somebody do me a huge favor, rewind and grab the time code of when we started on this with 5.5%. And now somebody in the chat say I'll do it, and the first person to say I'll do it, do it. And somebody else that's going to say in the chat I'll do it, I'll do the second one, I guess. We're going to go through how to change this, how to lower this, and this will take us through the whole process again, just so that you guys get to see it twice. So here we go. Timestamp, whatever the timestamp is now, somebody grab it if you don't mind, throw it in a comment. Here's how you would lower that value. So we'll go through the whole thing again. Let's say I want to go down to a 5% motor idle throttle value. All right, so we change it here, and that 5% is equivalent of 1050 in the motors tab. So configuration, motor idle throttle value 5. That is the same as 1050. So now we come down to the motors tab, and we want to put that value in here to spin these up to read the RPM. So put power to the quad. Come in here. I understand the risks. Props off, of course. And we're going to hover over the master tab, and we're going to just start arrow keying up until we get to 1050. And there it is. So there's 1050 down here on the bottom. All right. So now we're going to look at this RPM value here, this little R. All right. And it's going to move around, but we want to see what the top and the bottom is. So I think I just saw a 1900 flash up. So 1900 is the highest that I've seen. And it's looking like it's dropping down into the 1600s. Are any of these going to 15? Yeah, some of them are going down to 1500. So between 1500 and 1900, we'll go in the middle, and we'll go to, what's the middle of that? What did I say? 15 and 19? So the middle is 15, 16, 17. So we'll just say 1700. Although that 1900 was probably kind of a fluke, and the battery just went totally dead. Okay, so panic, panic, panic. Let me get this battery plugged into the charger so it's not hopefully on fire. Hang on a second. Be right back. So here's another question for you, Mark, if you're still here. Does it matter if I do this 2S versus 3S? I'm about to find out, because I'm going to grab a 3S battery. Getting this 2S battery on the charger to try to bring it back to life, since I just over-discharged the ever-loving hell out of it. Oh, 2.9 per cell. Hi. Sorry about that, fella. Okay. So now we're going to go 3S. Fully charged 3S battery. We're going to plug it in, and let's see if there's any difference in the RPMs. Let's zoom out, and let's turn this off, and let's turn it back on. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what do we say? 1050? We want to put this to 1050. And now let's see what happens to these RPM values. Oh yeah, way different. Way different. So let me zoom out and let's talk about that, Mark, because so yeah. Let's see what Mark's got to say about that. Make sure to test it if the dynamic idle value of 16 works for you without desyncs by doing a lot of flips and rolls on the maiden, low to the ground. It does matter. Dynamic idle is a profile specific setting, so make this profile your 2S profile and then make a 3S profile. Ugh. I'm annoyed. So on rigs where I want to run two different voltages, I typically don't make two individual um, profiles out of laziness. What I'll basically do is tune it for 3S, but I won't put it like at the absolute limits of the tune. Um, oh, Tiago just said you can have the profiles change automatically. That makes it a lot less annoying. So let's do this. Let's make profile 1 the 3S profile. And oh, nice! At the bottom of the PIDs tab, there's a cell count value. Dude, we're figuring all the cool shit out. Where is it? Cell count. At the bottom of the PIDs tab. Where is it? Cell count value. Where are you? Cell count value. Um. Hmm. Is it in rate profile settings, maybe? Curve, filter settings, maybe? No. It's right there, Stephen Rossi says. Where is it? Why can't I find it? Am I special? Where is it? Cell count. There we go. Oh, it's a part of the motor output limit. Interesting. Okay. So automatically activates the. Oh God. All right. Let me pull power. Thank you for beeping like that, so that I don't cook this VTX as if I haven't already. Okay. So this is going to be a 3 cell, and yeah, I was looking here. I wasn't looking over there. So that's interesting. All right, so let's save this, and then before I forget, I'm going to go to Profile 2, and I'm going to put this to 2 cell. Save that. And all right, so a little bit more work here on the config side, but not the end of the world. Okay, so let's keep going with the 3S. We're going to do 3S now, and then we'll drop back to the 2S. So again, we're going from the default 5.5 motor idle value percent to 5. So 5 is the equivalent of 1050 in the motors tab. So we put the 5 here, then we come down to the motors tab, we put power again. This is going to be the 3S one that we're doing here. We've got 3S power. We're going to understand the risks. We're going to take the master and we're going to raise it to 1050. And you're looking at the left sliders. So there we go, 1050. Now we're going to zoom in and we're going to look at these R values. And they're always going to dither, so it looks like it's dithering between 3,500 and change down to 3,200 and change. So between 32 and 35 is, let's just say, 34. And hit the end key to drop that. So 3,400 is the number that we're thinking about. And let's zoom back out. So 3,400 RPM, and we're gonna go with our little calculator here just to show you guys what I'm doing. 3,400 times 0.8, and that's gonna give us a value of 2720. So now we're gonna come in here to the PID tab again, and for this dynamic idle value, we're gonna go 27. Because it's times 100, so that's going to give us 2700. That's close enough to 2720. So there we go. That's all you got to do. So now let's do that all over again, but for 2S. So I'm going to grab a 2S battery, and all right. So again, to take us through it one more time, we're going to go here to configuration. We're going to look at our motor idle throttle value, which is still at a 5. So that's the same as 1050 in the motors tab. We're going to go to the motors tab. We're going to apply power to the quad. We're going to understand the risks. We're going to take the master up to 1050. I guess you could just do this on an individual motor, but I'd rather do it on all of them. So here we go. You're going to look at these R values, and you're going to see how they dither. So this looks, oh, there we go. So it's dropping down to as low as 2,000 and change, and as high as 2200 and change. So we're going to say 2100 is our nice round number in the middle of those values. So 2100, let's get this thing to stop spinning. Turn that off, pull power. All right, so 2100 times 0.8 equals 1680. So now we want to come in here to the PID tab. We want to go back. Oh, you son of a bitch. All right, profile 1 is the 3S profile. So this is the profile that I need at... Oh, look at that. It automatically went to profile 2. That is pretty goddamn slick. So it took care of that for me. I thought that I'd put it into the wrong profile, but it automatically picked up on this cell count here, and it took care of the, it covered my ass for me. So I'm actually going to put this to 17 because it's times 100 RPM, which means 1700, and 1700 is closer to 1680 than 1600. Make sense? And then we're going to save. And that's all there is to it. That's not bad. That is not bad. That is going to give people a complete heart attack. But I don't know. Not that bad. Tiago is talking to Mark about using a much higher motor auto value since the dynamic will control it. Mark is replying with, you can... Oh, okay. So... universally set to 17. So you don't think, so if we universally set it to 17, Mark, you don't think that on 3S here it would be a little bit too low? Right. So, okay, so that's Digital Idol. It looks like the chat's just going to keep on talking about that. That's awesome. I'm going to read this chat after the stream. In the meanwhile, let's just keep going with this setup. I want to get done with this setup so I can have dinner. Rate profile settings. Let's get my rates put in here. Nowadays, I'm down at 0.6, 0.6, 0.6 with no expo and a RC rate of, what is it, 8.3? Yeah, 8.3. This gives me the most possible sensitivity at the center of the sticks, and it is as linear as possible all the way up to plastic. Oh, look at that rates type. Oh, that's so cool. Very, very cool. Nice little additions here in 10.7. So now let's go over to filters. So I'm kind of in uncharted territory, so I'm just going to do my pretty standard. Oh, this looks different. Where did low, medium, high go? Look at that. Dynamic. So the since we're using RPM filtering, which is turned on with 3 harmonics, which is what we want. A lot of our micro RPMs are up sky high, and we want the second and third harmonics here to make sure that the RPM filters can crush those really high RPMs that we're turning on these tiny little motors. RPM minimum frequency, I usually leave this alone at 100. Hey Mark, what do you think for a high RPM micro? Should I raise this RPM filter minimum frequency a little bit, since the dynamic notch is going to be crushing a lot of the frequencies down here around 100 hertz? What are your you got any thoughts on that? Down here in the dynamic notch filter, since the gyro RPM filters are going to be handling the majority of the of our filtering, we can make the dynamic filter a little bit more targeted. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to change the width percentage. So I have a like a 7 bullet point list of how to do this over on the Patreon channel, which just kind of makes this simple. I've done it enough times where I think I can hack my way through it. Putting this dynamic notch width percent to 0 makes it as targeted as possible and reduces a bunch of latency, so we're going to do that. The dynamic notch Q, the generic suggestion is to bump this up to 250. The minimum hertz, we're actually going to lower this to try to pick up some of the potential frame resonance. I don't think with micros and these tiny little short arms, this is maybe unnecessary, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to be sure. So I'm going to drop that down to 90, just to make sure that the dynamic notch can go a little bit lower. What's the default? What was it, 150, I think? Yeah, so we'll open that up a little bit. Mark says he likes 125 on the gyro RPM minimum filter. So that's good. That'll move it up a little bit and reduce a little bit of latency if the quad is clean. If the quad's clean, you can raise it up even farther. That's awesome. Cool, so we'll do 125. That seems like it's not like going ham and going totally ballistic. Dynamic notch maximum hertz, I'm going to leave alone at 600. So what we've done there is with the first value, we've made the dynamic notch a lot more pinpoint, so that it really, so instead of targeting a wider segment of values, we've narrowed the dynamic notch, and that reduces a bunch of latency. Then we went into the dynamic notch queue and we turned that up to 250. What that's kind of sort of doing is placing more trust in the values coming out of the gyro is one of the ways that I've heard that explained. So we've further reduced latency there, and then we've moved the dynamic notch minimum hertz down to 90, just to that's actually going to add a little bit of latency, but as I understand it, it doesn't add much. And it's just going to give the dynamic notch a little bit lower of a, it's going to allow it to go a little bit lower. And the RPM filters aren't targeting those lower frequencies, so it's kind of nice to have the dynamic down there in those lower frequencies. I'm going to take a guess here, and I'm going to bump both of these up to 1.2, and that's where I'm going to stop. This is, you can continue to go even further with reducing latency, reducing filtering, but the next step would be just to continue to move these upwards. But as you see, there's a caution that pops up, which is great. 1.2 is a nice safe value to go fly it on the maiden, make sure that there aren't hot motors. If the motors are nice and cool, maybe I'll come back and push these both to 1.5. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave them at 1.2 so that they're nice and so that there's I'd rather have a little bit more filtering than a little bit less, especially with micros that have a really hard time with vibrations. So that is a good first pass at the filter settings. To be quite honest, this is pretty much where I leave the majority of the filter settings on my rigs. I'm not, again, I prefer to have a little bit too much filtering than not enough. That will also allow me to run a little bit more D-gain, and the D-gain really helps micros get that last little bit of prop wash and bobble on throttle stabs. And that's not like an official Betaflight stance that I just went over. That's sort of just what I've seen in the last 3 years of building and flying micros. So now I'm going to bastardize the PIDs, and Mark is going to throw his mouse across the room, because I do this specifically to get better footage and not to get better black box logs and or better closer set point tracking. And the big thing that I do here is dump these feed forwards all the way down. I'm basically turning feed forward off. I drop roll down to 5, I drop pitch down to 10, and I drop yaw down to 40. And so I don't know what the I'm not overly impressed with the way that this rig flies from a mechanical standpoint, the weight to the motors, to the voltage, to everything. So I'm not going to go through Mark's full tuning process to find out the ideal P to D balance. I'm just going to take some guesses here, and the guesses that I'm going to take are going to be to pump the P gains up by 10 on pitch and roll. So 42, I'm going to go to 52. 46, I'm going to go to 56. Again, these are just guesses. Lately, I've been pulling my I gains down a little bit just to loosen the quad up a little bit. So I'm going to drop them by 10. and then I'm gonna pump the D maxes up by 10. This is what I do on almost every rig as just like a first pass, making it a little bit more aggressive. I can get away with this because I build clean rigs. I don't run bashed up motors. And then as the rig gets more and more beat up, I can just bring these values down if I need to. And I'm also going to move the D-min up by 5. Again, these are not super aggressive changes that I'm making, but they're just little subtle tweaks. And a lot of times with this set of tweaks, it gets the, yeah, this is absolutely AP PID and filter tuning. This, in fairness, I could arm this and it could fly away. But I've flown this rig on 3.5.7. I know that it's relatively clean and I should be fine doing this. What I was about to say is typically the changes you guys just saw me make take, I don't really fly defaults anymore. I just kind of do this all the time. And a lot of times I will fly this and it will be close enough to perfect where I won't touch it. And that saves a ton of time, and it saves me from kind of like getting too involved in getting it tuned perfectly, and I can focus on just flying, which it's a real back and forth of like, I want my rigs to fly really good, but I also want to spend as much time as possible on the sticks flying rather than obsessing over tuning. So what you guys just saw me do is, here's a good analogy for you guys. What I just did basically takes Betaflight's stock tune and pushes it to where Flyduino and Flight 1's stock tunes are. Everybody always talks about how much better Flyduino and Flight 1 fly on completely stock tunes, and this is why. Their stock tune is much more aggressive than Betaflight's stock tune. Betaflight is the software that needs to work on every single fucked up build in the world. And Flight 1 and Flyduino just don't do that. If you take a fucked up build and you put it on Flight 1 or Flyduino, it's not going to fly right. It's going to just fly away to the moon from the first time that you arm it. And Betaflight is much, much, much more forgiving in that respect. So, yeah, that's basically what I've just done here. I've taken Betaflight and I've moved it more aggressive. I've moved it into a place that it's more aggressive, which is basically where Flight 1 and KISS are from the jump. And Mark says amen. So yeah, that's pretty much what I just did. It's a good starting place for you guys if you build clean. If you don't build clean, at the very least, put it up in the air on the totally stock Betaflight settings and make sure that your motors aren't getting hot. Don't come crying to me if you if you do everything I just did and you cook a motor 10 seconds into the maiden. That is on you. All right, let's keep going. Cell count. Man, this cell count thing is really cool. I'm really impressed by that. That's such a simple thing, but man, is that nice. Okay, feed forward transition. I'm going to move this all the way back up to 1. And I do need to remember now that I have to do both of these profiles. So feed forward transition, I'm going to move up to 1. It just makes it more cinematic. The lock and release from sticks, from having the sticks dead center, is a little bit softer when you move this feed forward transition up to 1. The feed forward, moving them very low, also helps with that quite a bit. Throttle boost, I moved it up to 6 on the other one. What the hell, I'll move it up to 6 on this one. I want to spend a little bit more time playing around with throttle boost in the future, and this is how I kind of remind myself of that, is I'll change it from the factory setting. VBAP PID compensation I turn on. I've never noticed it doing anything good. I've also never noticed it doing anything bad. If you read the description of it, it sounds like something that you would probably want to have. So I'm placing kind of blind faith that it's doing something good. iTerm relax, roll and pitch, type gyro. You can now run this on set point, but I like the idea of it being on gyro. And then the cutoff, the new default is 15. I move that down to 10 just to make sure. D-min, I've been going kind of ham on the D-Min Advance because I really like how much it softens up the initial. So I have a tendency to really stick bang, which means that like I will just as violently as my fingers will allow me to just ram the stick all the way out to the end of the travel. If you ever hear me say plastic, that's what I mean. You're ramming the stick into the plastic. Running this D-Min Advance up to like 50 or even 100 really smooths that attack out. Um, so yeah, I've been messing around with that. I've let me go a little bit less aggressive on it, and I'll just do it at 50. 50 makes a big difference, so I've been moving that to 50. I haven't really played around with the D-Min gain all that much, but I am going to in the future. It looks like this default setting is much higher than it used to be. I think it used to be 25 as a default, so now it's up to 37. Uh, I won't dive into how the D-Min gain and advance work because it still kind of wrinkles my brain. Like I understand it, but then when I try to explain it, I have a hard time explaining it. So I basically what that says to me is that I just need to continue to think about it to understand it a little bit better, so that I can then explain it. Um, UAV Tech in the chat says you should just set feed forward to 0 and see how you like it. Maybe something to check out. Mark, do you think there's like having it 5 and 10 and 40? Do you think that's actually doing anything? Um, I use the yaw feed forward to lock in. I have this move that I love doing where I put the nose down, I pick up a whole bunch of ground speed, uh, flying pointed sort of towards an object, but off to one side or the other of that object. And as soon as I get to the object, I bash full yaw, full roll, coordinated, same direction. So if I'm pointing to the right of the object, I go full left on both sticks, and the quad snaps around 180 degrees, and then I just pull the throttle off and let it fade back for as long as I can. And I use the yaw feed forward to tune, so it doesn't always 180 completely flat, but I use the yaw feed forward to dial that in. Each rig is a little bit different with this. And yeah, so that's how I use the yaw feed forward. Sometimes I have to turn it up a little bit to like 50 or 60. Sometimes I drop it down. But eventually I can get the yaw feed forward so that my natural thumb movement of jamming both sticks over lands me with a perfect 180 that lands completely flat, looking back at the object, and then I can slide it back. Um, Mark said, no, not with the transition set to 1. That means you only get the full feed forward gains at 100% stick travel. So it sounds like I might as well have it off. But then if I turn it off, I'm going to lose the ability to tweak the yaw feed. Oh, I guess I could just set roll and pitch to 0. So I'm going to do that in the future. For right now, I'm going to leave it 5 and 10 because that's what I'm used to, and I do want to give a good head-to-head of this rig on 3.5.7 versus 3.2. So cool. But yeah, thanks for that, Mark. I'm going to try zeroing the roll and pitch feed forwards out at some point here. I've done that, but it's been a long time. It's I think the last time I did that was back in 3.5.7 days. Anti-gravity, I'm going to move up. I think on Mark's most recent, UAV Tech's most recent video, uh, he finally confirmed for me that anti-gravity applies to both throttle increases, sharp throttle increases, and sharp throttle decreases. The way that I read the description of it way back when it first came out was that it was only applying to fast throttle increases, but here it says fast throttle changes. And the little bobble when I chop the throttle drives me fucking mad. So I'm gonna move this gain back up to 5, which is where the default is. And then I'm actually gonna be playing around with increasing this anti-gravity quite a bit on rigs that I still have that little bit of bobble. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. Now I gotta do this all over again for Profile 2. So here we go. Let's move this up to 5. We're going to move this advance up to 50. We're going to move the cutoff down to 10. We're going to go to gyro, R and P. We're going to turn on VBAT PID compensation. We're going to go leave this alone. throttle boost 5. I think I went up to 6. Feed forward transition up to 1. We're going to go up here, feed forward 5, 10, 40, and I forget what I did with the PIDs. So let's go back and forth here real quick. Okay, I pushed the P's up by 10, pushed the D's up by probably 10 as well, moved the I's down by 10, and pushed D-min by 5. All right. Oh, 50. Oh, Christ. Where was it? 52, 56, 45. Hey, there we go. All right. And this is just a baseline. Like, as I move forward, maybe I'll probably end up making the 2S tune a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it now. Oops. Okay. So, see where I'm at. I'm going to make the 2S tune more aggressive from the get-go here. And... okay, so now they're even, I think. Let's see. Now they are exactly the same, except for the dynamic idle value. Okay, so PID profile 2 is on 2S, so let's add another 10 to the P gains. All right. Yep. All right. Cool. So we added another 10 to the P gains, and I'm going to add 5 to the D max. And the D min, I'm going to add. I'll put 5 in there as well. What I'm trying to do there is maintain the P to D balance. When the D's are up here in the 60s, I'm sorry, when the P's are up here in the 60s and the D's are down here in the 30s, the P to D ratio is roughly 2 to 1, right? So that's why I want to move these D mins by 5 when I move the P's up by 10. That makes sense to you guys? And that's pretty much it for the PID tab. Oh, let's get back onto profile 1. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. It's going to read the cell count, and it's going to put it on the right profile. Oh, shit. Hold on. I also have to change the filter settings on profile 2, I believe. Yep. Okay. So, profile 2, we got to fix these. Oh, looks like I just needed to fix that one. That's interesting. 3, 125. Is that right? 3, 125, 3, 125, yep. And then 0, 250, 90, 600. Okay. So yeah, it looks like I just needed to move that D term filter multiplier on the second profile. Receiver tab. Let's see where we're at. There should be some cool changes in here. You know, the old configurator used to do this every so often. It would get stuck in the PID tuning tab, and you got to disconnect and reconnect. No big deal, but is what it is. Let's make sure. Yeah. Left is left, right is right, front is front, back is back. All right, receiver tab, and we might as well go back to our screenshots. Okay, there we go. So we got to go to TAER, which is Grapner. RSSI channel is on 12. Drop this down to 1,000. Bring this up to 2,000 for a little bit more throw. Filter RPYT auto biquad. I thought there were. Okay, yeah, there it is. Auto smoothness. I've been moving the auto smoothness up to 20, but as I understand it, one of the big improvements is the smoothing, is the RC command smoothing. So I'm going to leave it at 10 now. And in 357, it didn't even exist. There wasn't even. Well, I guess it was buried in the CLI somewhere. So we should be good here. Let's save it and move on. Next up are the modes tabs, and I'm just going to set these up from scratch. So, ARM on aux1 here. I do use Horizon because I have an oh my god switch that if I lose video, I can flip on aux2. Alright, and then we're going to go beeper. That's going to be on aux3, and I always put the beeper in the switch farthest forward position, and then I put turtle mode in the middle position on that same one. That's aux3. We're going to leave that in the middle there, and we're going to go this is an HD cam, so I don't have to set my on non-HD setups. I will put a switch position for OSD disable, so I can turn off the OSD and get actual SD footage. But since this is recording HD, I don't need to do that. Black box, I like to put. Oh, it doesn't have black box, so I can't do that. Air mode, I'm gonna put on aux2 in the center. Oh, I'm sorry, in the all the way down position, and the center position. Well, since I don't have black box, I can do this. So if I want to perch on something, I can move this aux2 switch to the middle position, turn off air mode. That's kind of a fun thing to do. FPV angle mix, no, black box race, nope, and we're going to turn on launch control just for funsies. And we're going to leave it on aux2 in that center position. Disable VTX control, acro trainer paralyzed, VTX pit mode. Nope, we're good to go. So there we go. Our modes are all set up. Motors tab, there's no settings. OSD tab, we're going to pull out of that file. Video transmitter, we need to load from file. I'm going to grab my Tramp VTX table, which for some strange reason is not in here. What? Smart audio, smart audio, smart. Where the hell's my Tramp VTX table? That's aggravating. Let me find it. Oh, it's stuck in here in manuals, isn't it? There it is. Tramp. I need to move that. Alright, Tramp, we loaded it from the file, and now we're going to save. Save Lewis script. What? Huh. That's pretty cool. Huh, I gotta read up on that. That's super interesting. I like that. Low power disarm on until first arm. I love that feature. It's gonna run it at. It's gonna run the. Jesus. I am hungry and tired. It's gonna run the VTX at the minimum power setting, so 25 milliwatts, until you arm it, and then it's gonna kick it up to whatever your chosen setting is. Love that feature. This does not have black box. So now we're gonna pull up our text edit file with our OSD stuff, highlight it all, and paste it into the CLI. And we're gonna look for red. So we're going from 3.57 to 4.2. Some of the names of the OSD items have changed. This is also a great example of why you don't want to do dumps or diffs if you're changing the version at all. Watch how much red pops up. Okay, so it's all of it. I've never seen it be all of it before, but that's annoying. Hold on, let me check something. Oh, wait a second. I have it. I have my typical OSD settings here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is fine. Let me try this again. See if this. Oh yeah, this'll definitely be better. Well, not definitely, because maybe they changed the name of all the OSD stuff. No, they didn't. See, there was that one red though that went scrolling by. We got to go find that. We got to find it and see what the hell it says. Invalid value. So that was applying to this here. Set OSD RSSI DBM alarm. So we only have that one. Other than that, the rest of the OSD settings came through. Don't forget to type save. Yeah, Rob, you're gonna have to rewind, man. We covered some serious ground so far. Um, Huge shout out to Mark Spatz for coming and hanging out. UAV Tech. Mark's got a Patreon. If you guys are patrons of mine, I would love it if you also became a patron of Mark Spatz's. Just search for UAV Tech over on Patreon. He deserves every penny. He's doing God's work, people. He's in the trenches, helping us all out. Okay, OSD. Let's see how it looks. Where's where the hell did NTSC and PAL go? What? Where are they? What the shit? So it looks like that got removed, or maybe accidentally, from 10.7. This is the shape of the OSD for PAL, but everything I have is on NTSC. You're welcome, Mark. Very, very deserving. Total arm time. Well, what the hell? Okay. So, I guess I'm gonna leave it. I guess I'm gonna leave it here. In theory, it'll be in the right spot. Interesting. Yeah, and so after you paste that into the CLI, just come in here and make sure everything is in the right spots. Lately, I've been adding some extra stuff in here. Oh wait, no, not artificial. Not artificial. I want the. I've been kind of playing around with like the pitch and the roll angle. They're just kind of cool values to look at. Here, I put the roll one here, and then I put the pitch one up here. I don't know why. It just works for me. It's just kind of interesting to see if I've hit. Can you go full screen on this? Just shrinks it down though, right? Oh, I guess that's a little bit better. Not really though. Now I can't see the chat. It's this one monitor life is not ideal. I guess I can at least like clean this up a little bit though. It's a little bit less cluttered. Although we are almost done. And well, I guess we kind of are done. Yeah, so the pitch and the roll angles is kind of interesting to look at. You know what I do? No, I'm going to leave this. This is it. I'm done. Save. I'm going to go into the... Or not. Is the font manager gone too? I usually like to change the font to one of the bigger ones, but looks like the font manager is not in here anymore. Possibly just because this is a release candidate. That's fine. Video transmitter, we already took care of that. We loaded up the Tramp VTX table. This does not have black box, and that is pretty much it, ladies and germs. Let's disconnect, and we'll do a little hover. Restart the configurator. Nope, no font manager. Weird. No big deal. Oh, you mean quit out of it all the way? Worth a shot. Alright. Could be like target related, maybe, I guess. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, whatever. No big deal. Oh, hey, there it is. Okay, there's the font. Cool. I used to run Clarity, but nowadays I'm running Large. Alright, good to go. So I still don't have the NTSC versus PAL, but no big deal. Alright, so we're good. Let's do a little test hover. I'll spin the camera around, and we will shut down day 2's Quaranstream. situated here. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Alright, you guys can watch me fail if this thing goes poorly. I want to go here. Alright. Oh, I gotta put props on. Alright, well, you guys can watch the oh so exciting process of screwing props in. Or down, or whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to call it. Words are hard. Okay, here we go. And let's put some freshies on. These are a little bit beat up. What did I do? Oh, God. And I'm tempted to go to the 2 blades, but for the interest of fairness, I'm going to Cinco de Ciotti filter config. Oh, yes, Rob. That has a certain sound to it that I like. Alright. And off we go. This one's not beat up at all. I'm going to reuse this one. Reuse this one, so I just need a high left. High left. Let's go one of these yellow ones. They're kind of cool looking. High left. There we go. Alright. Oh wait, no. Gotta go blue. Gotta go blue. Because those motors have that blue in them. It's all about image, guys. Gotta look good. If it doesn't look good, I'm uninterested. So this is going to be my only props in rig. That's interesting. No, it's not. It's the least interesting thing I've ever said. Oh man, here comes some good TV, guys. Rant, 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 rant. Rant, 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 rant. Look how good this thing's gonna look in a minute. Whoo, boy. Got those adorable little LED race wires on there. They light up the bluest blue I've ever seen. Oh my god, I hear my girl Demi in the background. Yeah. Kristen, what are you up to? Working? Oops, sorry guys, I think I just screamed right into the mic. You working?
No, just relaxing.
What do you want to do? What are we doing for dinner?
Yeah, all that food, so...
What food? Oh, yeah, yeah. I went to Aldi today, guys. Nobody was wearing masks. Georgia has decided, in their infinite lack of wisdom, to just say fuck it, let everyone die. So that was pretty shocking. Like I walked in the door of Aldi with my little mask on, and there were about 10 people in there. Not one of them had a mask. And then during the time I was in there, more people came in, and some of them had masks. But like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Put a mask on. Like, just do it, idiot.
Like, really doesn't affect your life.
Yeah, like it's just like, my God, you're.
It's not that hard.
There's just no reason not to. There's no reason not to. Like, oh, I can do this one thing that's infinitely easy, and I maybe I won't die. Maybe it'll decrease the chances of me dying or killing my family by a little bit.
There's a bunch
But
of orange on the screen.
no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm too good for masks. I prefer death.
Yeah, I want mask
What
death.
fucking world do you live in? All right, there we go. All right, cool. I'm gonna wrap this up in a second.
Yeah, like, we're not gonna go
I don't know,
crazy
man.
again, but we have stuff to need done quick, so
Yeah,
we're good.
yeah, exactly, Mark. Yeah, thank you, Kristen. Exactly, Mark. Next week, mark my words, guys. So they Georgia did this on January, March, April, May 1st. So mark my fucking words. Beginning of next week on the news, huge goddamn outbreak of Ebola in the face in Georgia. I guarantee it. Face Ebola. COVID will have pissed it off so much that it'll change to fucking Rob Axelson asks, how is the Lego lady doing? She's doing awesome. For anybody that wants to be a super cool human being, go over to Instagram and search for Kristen with an I-N, Kristin, loves Lego, Lego. Let me type it into the chat, because she's doing some sick stuff. You'll get to see her Lego creation of my office here that she did for my birthday. That's amazing. Kristen loves Lego. There it is. Go over to Instagram and follow that account, or I'm going to beat your face. Okay, 3S test hover coming at you. Let's get the battery on here. Here's how I mount the battery on this. Just in case anybody was wondering. It's kind of annoying because I have to plug it in before I do this, but not the end of the world. I put the little bounce lead in there, and then like this, and then I yank the whole thing down. And it does try to shift the battery over, but then you can force it. You can force the battery back into the center to make sure that you're not fucking up your center of gravity. And yes, it does make a difference. See, now the battery is centered again. That is important. Make sure that you get that battery centered, and also make sure that you get it relatively even front to back. You guys wouldn't believe the difference that screwing up your CG makes. So see, these are roughly the center points, so picking it up by those. You want to keep in mind the camera on this setup is a little bit, you guys can't see, Jesus Christ. The camera is offset forward, so you want to offset the battery backwards a little bit to make sure that your CG isn't jacked up. So here we go. Let's turn this fan off. So the intended result here is not for the quad to explode into the ceiling, even though that'll be great television. I'm still trying to not do that. Get a little bit of height here. And all right, so first arm, you arm and disarm as quick as you can. Just make sure it doesn't go bananas. Then for another second, just make sure it's not making weird noises. Then arm it, give it a second, and give it a little bump on the right stick, and then immediately disarm it. By doing that, if the board is not rotated correctly, as soon as you give it any right stick, it's going to go bananas. So if you do this and just like right stick and then disarm right away, as it's starting to go bananas, you'll disarm it and it won't kill all the children in the room. But we seem to be okay. So, and I'm going to do the same thing with the throttle. I'm going to add throttle and then just disarm it, just to make sure. And it sounded nice and smooth. There was no obvious brrr or any of that nonsense, so we should be okay. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get over there. So I'm going to just keep it hovering for a little bit because I want to check the motor temperature. Wow. The hover point is a little low on this. Might actually end up adding a little throttle curve to this. Ooh, the motors are getting warm. I'll be damned. Okay, so in theory our filtering is about maxed out because they are a little bit warm from just a hover. I wonder if they'll be hot when I start hammering on this thing. Interesting. I was not expecting that. Okay, so yeah, there you go. There it is. It test hovers. I will put it up in the air tomorrow and see if I can destroy it. Thanks for coming, everybody. I think that's kind of all I can do. I'm going to go have some dinner, relax, watch some Ozark. Kristen and I are in... So, Kristen and I rewatched all of Westworld to get ready for Westworld Season 3. And and then we realized it's going to get released episodically, one at a time. So we said, screw it. And we rewatched all of Ozark for a second time through because we realized that they would just dump them all at once. And we're about halfway through the third season, and it's just awesome. So if you've got, yeah, I know, Mark. Today's been a weird day. I didn't wake up until 2 o'clock today, so this day is all jacked up. But yeah, there I am. I don't have a camera pointing at me today because my allergies are just completely attacking me all day. I waited this late to stream just so that I wasn't sniffling and snorting so badly. Yeah. There we go. That's a little bit better. So yeah, we're gonna watch some Ozark and eat some food. That's about it. So yeah, everybody that came in late, definitely rewind. Lots and lots and lots and lots of good content in here. Huge shout out to UAV Tech, Mark Spatz, for coming by. If you are a patron of mine, for the love of God, go over to Mark Spatz's Patreon page, UAV Tech, and become a patron of his as well. Quite frankly, he deserves it more than I do. He is on the front lines taking grenades with the Betaflight devs to make this flight software that we somehow get for free, which is just ridiculous, better and better and better and better and better. So get your asses over to his Patreon channel and give him some support. He deserves it. He's doing all kinds of really good stuff for us. And yeah, that's about it, I guess. I'll catch you. It looks like Griffin just shows up. Griffin, hi. Okay, Griffin, bye. Shutting this thing down. Thanks for hanging. You guys are awesome. Here's a little. I always try to think of like fun little extra things I can give you guys at the end of the stream. If you're crazy enough to stay till the end, I try to give you some secrets. This is pretty awesome. I'm pretty impressed by this little $28 soldering iron. Not quite as good as a TS100, but the handle is a lot bigger, and for 28 bucks, come on. Yeah, this is awesome. This is the Secure SQ28, I believe it is. It's over on Pyrodrone, and if you get one, get the one with the digital display. It's only a couple bucks extra. Works really well. Heats up quick. 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S. What else? Yeah, it's just good. It's really good. The reason why I like it over the TS100, since this is bigger, when you put it down on a table, the tip of the iron is farther away from the table. I got this so that I can. So this, I've never really taken you guys for a tour, have I? Some of you have kind of gotten the tour. Hold on, let me get this out of here. So here's the office here with all the stuff. There's the one monitor. There's the laptop. There's the tower with the Weller. So this is like the office. I used to my day job computer setup used to be here, but now that they've let me go, it is no longer. It is turned into the on deck circle for repairs and scratch builds. So then, yeah, we've got nonsense over there. There's my little charging setup, and then out there, that's the actual living room. This room that we're in now is like the den. So that's the living room, right? So that's where our entertainment center is, and huge TV, and my home theater setup. So we love hanging out there. Sometimes I'll lean against this door, and I can lean against the door and like work on quads on the floor, and then still watch TV with Kristen while she's over there Legoing. But with this little guy, with this little fella, I'm hoping that I'm going to get another one of these. What the fuck are these called? cutting mats. I don't know, whatever. You guys know what these are. I'm going to get another one of these, a smaller one of these, that I can put on our coffee table out there. And then with this soldering iron, I think I might be able to sit out there and actually do some soldering. Because otherwise, when I go out there, all I can really do is like just screw stuff together. Shopping cart is over there, hanging out with all them, not all of them, but some of my blown up T-Motor F40 Pro 2s. There you guys go. A little better for you. And then this is the remote to the purple light right there, and that's the purple light that shines up here and lights this whole area up in purple. All of these frames up on top are prototypes that are broken, and then the only working quads up here are ever that one right there, well that spot right there, that spot right there, and there's a third spot right here, but I don't have a third working quad at the moment. Simpson Razorback helmet with the blue and purple visor, which is an exact replica of what the White Stig uses. And then this is a Simpson, what's it called? Simpson Super Speedway helmet with the black visor, which is what the Black Stig wore in seasons 1 and 2 of Top Gear. Longboard hiding behind the door there. Gravity Mackay 41-inch with Randall Planetary trucks. Guess that's it. That's about it. Nothing really else all that fun over here, I guess. I mean, lots of fun stuff, if I'm honest, but you'll have to come hang out to see the rest of it. So, yeah, shutting this down. You guys are cool. Thanks for hanging. Hope you like the little behind the scenes. $28, man. $28, and it comes with the circular 45-degree angle tip that Drew Camden really likes. It's all right. I like chisel tips better. I like really small chisel tips better. But this is an interesting. I'm glad it came with this because this is an interesting tip. I'll have more to say once I've used it more. All right, guys, be good. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Quaranstream Day 3 coming at you tomorrow. Who the hell knows what time?